How many of you think that this day and age is way better than the 90s and maybe even the early 2000s? Show of hands now. Well, you're wrong. In this day and age, we're actually trying to go back in time because it was so good. It was just something about it. I'm a millennial and I grew up in the later 90s, early 2000s. And I wish I was older in the 90s because it just seemed like it was the golden age for everything, from movies to toys.
Poet.
Man, that looks easy.
Sure, it looks easy.
To music. Families were tighter and everybody and their mama was outside. And the economy was pretty good too. It seemed like there was more care for children and love for everyone. For example, with music, every time you heard an R&B song, you felt like you had to be in love. Every time you heard a rock or a punk song, you felt like you had to have an attitude and be a rebel. You know, pop music, you felt like you want to dance. It was all just fun. And not saying things after the 90s weren't fun or anything, it just felt like it was more magic. Christmases were lit. I remember my aunt had this huge tree with tinsel and other decorations on it. And I thought, wow, this is the most magical thing I've ever seen. Then we fast forward to the early 2000s, and that was my real era. And that was also pretty lit. We had TV shows like My Super Sweet 16, Smallville, Oswald. Does anybody remember Oswald for real? It was a great show. Great show. Also, bad things happened, in this time period, like the Twin Towers, Katrina, the recession. One like now, but I think this one is pretty worse, or equally as bad. Everything today feels like there's no hope, and everyone got way too serious. From relationships to being able to go out without spending an arm and a leg. You realize you can't trust anyone. I can go off, but I won't. That's why I'm drawing Miss Hennifer Lopez, because I started watching South Park around maybe 2000, later 2000, 2008 or 2009. The show itself came out in 97, but I didn't, of course, get to watch it around those times when it was fresh. But I believe later on they started doing keeping up with the times and the current events and addressing that while having their own message, but they put it in a more funnier way so you could digest it a little bit. And this was actually one of my favorite episodes where Cartman was like, I'm going to be Jennifer Lopez, the hand puppet. And it just got way too out of hand. I'm drawing this today because this is what it reminds me of. It reminds me of a time where things were simpler, people were simpler, everybody just wanted to have fun. But if you've made it this far, and if any of this made sense, I know I just skim over a lot. There's a lot of detail I could probably go into. But if you would like to hear more on the topic, then let me know. Let's discuss it. If you grew up in the era I grew up in, let me know. If you would like, could you comment, and subscribe if you want to. And I'll see you in the next one.